to Sweet and Sour Soccer. Guys, today is Are You For Real? We haven't done this for a while. Guys, before I jump into it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Give us an opportunity. We are Wolves fans, but we do all types of videos. If you have a look at our playlists, give us a sub. Check us out for a week or two. If you don't like the content, you can always leave the club. Now, Are You For Real? What this is we cover different elements of the game. Players, managers, games, whatever it is. We rank them from first to fourth. There's been some amazing debates in the past, which you can check on the playlist. This one today, we are looking at, obviously, 4 young British managers. Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Graham Potter, and Scott Parker. Now,
I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be interesting. You know, we never talk about our orders before. You know, it's going to be an interesting one. This is. I'm interested to see how highly you rate some of them. On this one, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to do one that's going to come out. So this one will come out Thursday. You should be watching this, or that's when it came out. Yeah. And then the next one's coming out tomorrow on Friday. That one's going to be more about, let's say, the older British managers. That one's going to be Hodgson. It's going to be Moyes. It's going to be Rodgers. And, of course, Sean Dyche is the last one.
That one's going to be a humdinger because I've got someone last on that one, which I think you're going to hate me for.
Ooh, okay. Let's wait and see on that.
Let's dive into this one. I'm going to pass the floor straight over to you. And how we do it, guys, we start fourth and we work our way up. Who have you got as fourth? And disclaimer, I do like all these managers, but someone has to be last.
Yeah, I do like all these managers. And the one thing to say as well is we're not just basing this one. The one that you'll be, you know, hopefully you'll watch tomorrow will be based on their actual career. This is based on their career, but because it's been so short, we're also basing it on future potential.
Yep.
So anyway, guys, straight into it. Number 4 for me, Frank Lampard.
See, what did I say? I said this before we went live. Well, before we started recording, and I said, I think you're going to throw a dodgy one in there for Frank Lampard just to piss a few people off.
Because you know I don't rate him. You know I don't rate him.
I know you don't rate him, but... okay, right. You go into
Put it this way. Let me start on Lampard, right? Let me start on what I think he really did well with. And that was the first year at Chelsea. He brought through a lot of youngsters. He did really well getting them into the Champions League. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. Let's be honest here. I'm not saying Lampard's a bad manager. I just don't think he's as promising as he's been made to be made out. I think he was given the money. He was given the money this year, and then I think we really saw the problems. And I think, you know, players. I think Jorginho's made a comment of how much more things are professional now under Tuchel. But let's go back to Derby first. He is going to be the only manager in history to lose a playoff final and then get given the Chelsea job. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but we know why.
But that's what it's sentiment. Sentiment is, it don't matter. It doesn't matter.
Gerrard will probably get the Liverpool job in his only his second position. That never happens, really. I mean, maybe Bob Paisley, and he was only an assistant at the time, but... let me give you my fourth. Because we have a group chat, we know how much you love this guy. I've gone Scott Parker.
This is the problem. How can you put Lampard above Parker? You'll say Parker's got them relegated.
Disclaimer. There's not much between these two. But the gap from third to second, there's a jump for me. I'll make that clear. From third to fourth, there's not a lot in it. And this is how I weighed it up. What's more impressive? A fourth with a transfer embargo or winning the playoff final with Fulham?
To be fair, though, he went down with Fulham and took them straight back up.
Yeah.
For a young manager to rally... Let's talk about Parker as well, because I've actually put him third, so he's not that high up on my list.
Okay, so you're not going to crucify me.
Have you put Lampard third? Actually, don't you have?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about both of them together then, because it fits in really well.
There's not a lot between them.
The thing is, I looked at potential, and I just think Scott Parker's got a hell of a lot more potential as a manager than Lampard has.
How many relegations has Scott Parker had?
Technically 2.
Yeah, and this is a guy that... Can you blame him for the first one? Maybe not entirely. Probably not if you're being honest. Took them back up, but what have we seen as a trend in the last 5 years? If you go down, you're probably going back up. It's looking like a Swansea Bournemouth playoff final. Watford are up, Norwich. It seems to happen a lot. So let's put the brakes on the promotion a little bit. He's gone straight back down, and I know they gave a little bit of a fight towards the end of the season. Let's be honest. Fulham were relegated in December, weren't they? Let's be real about this. So
the were, but when you look at it, was their team changed really much at all from the one that went down 2 years ago? And he did a lot better this time than he did with the team 2 years ago.
He did, but there's in the record books, it's going to say relegation. It's not going to say had the same team, didn't spend much money. Listen, the reason I've gone for Lampard is this. He's the one that got, and Tuchel came out with this. He got them a near perfect record in the Champions League group. He got them to a point in the FA Cup where they could compete, I think. But if you look at Chelsea's running for the FA Cup, apart from Man City, it was quite a nice running, wasn't it? So could Lampard have got there? You know, they were still fighting for fourth when Lampard got sacked. Could Lampard have got Chelsea fourth? Yes. Could he have got to the Champions League final? I don't think so.
No,
but
no, not
could
at
he
all.
have got to the FA Cup final? Yeah, he could have. So there's not a lot between them, but I've gone Lampard and I've gone Parker fourth, Lampard third. You've gone Lampard fourth, Parker third. Now,
yeah, one thing I would say is with Lampard is, as I say, he did do really well with his first season with with that Chelsea squad, but I just feel like Tuchel has just showed him up since coming into the club. To be honest, things you're hearing coming out the club as well. Apparently, we're going to speak about Roy on the next one. Apparently, Lampard's favourite for the Palace job. If that happens, I'm going to put money on them to go down next year.
I think if you put Pep in that as the manager of Palace next season, an hour before recording this, a picture came out of Palace's squad who are to be released.
It's the team.
Yeah, it's basically that 12 of their first team and the bench players are leaving. Palace aren't staying up next season unless they spend 130 million in the summer. I'll say that now. Any Palace fans out there, keep this clip for 12 months. I guarantee you're going down next season. Let's move on to first and second. And I said to you off stream, if you haven't got Gerrard top, because we'll know who's top in 30 seconds from who we've got second. If you haven't got Gerrard top, forget about it. I might not even do the next one with you.
Yeah, and when you said that, I was really tempted to swap my order around just to make you angry, but no, I'm only joking. For me, Gerrard's top, Potter's second.
Yeah.
He started in the Swedish league, didn't he, Potter? Was there for quite a substantial time, and it was that Europa League run, wasn't it? The Europa League run that, the year before coming to Brighton. I was going to say Brighton, it was actually Swansea, wasn't it? The year before coming to Swansea, where people really started to notice him and went, well, who's this young manager, or young former manager, I should say? Who is this bloke in the Swedish league? And he went to Swansea. I think they finished. It was 10th, wasn't it? But did a pretty good job with them from the situation at the time. And I think that's why he then got the Brighton job. Potter's done brilliantly, in my opinion, to keep Brighton up. And you know what? In some ways, I think he's been dealt a similar card to maybe Scott Parker has at Fulham. I don't, he's not blessed with a great squad, is he, at Brighton? Let's be honest. And I think he's done a really good job to keep them up. I think he's played decent football at times as well, much like Scott Parker. But you have to
Their
give
defensive stats are incredible, aren't they? Brighton's defensive stats this season, I think they'd be like 6th or 7th in the league in terms of specific defensive stats. It's incredible. As you alluded to, he started off with Hodgson. What's incredible about what Potter did there is he won their 2nd division title, like our championship. In the very next season, went and won the league in their top division. And obviously, you talk about their escapades in Europe. What a job he's done. And the football they play, Potter's another one. If he was at Leicester, I don't think they'd be doing what Brendan Rodgers is currently doing, but I think they'd be doing very well. Do I think Potter would be fighting for Europe with that West Ham squad? Absolutely. Do I think he'd be doing well with that Chelsea squad? Absolutely. I think he's one of those managers that doesn't... I really hope he doesn't get tarred with that same brush that he's not Portuguese or he's not Spanish and he doesn't speak 12 languages, so he shouldn't get a top job. I think if he's got the squad, I think he wins trophies.
And you are right. There's enough of the times now, these English managers, British managers, you know, it's something I want to bring up in the next video. They rarely get a crack at the whip at the top jobs. And if they do, they get like one chance. And then, you know, obviously when they eventually get sacked, as every manager does these days, you don't see them get another. And obviously that's probably something I'll talk more about on the next video. Guys, do watch that one. But yeah, I agree. Potter, you could see him at a top 6 club, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, let's not make this a Wolves discussion, but I think he'd do better than Nuno. And we'll just leave it at that because I know you have a disagreeing opinion on that. But, you know, he does
move on.
He does deserve a chance at a club fighting for Europe. And what he's done with Brighton is really, it's been astonishing, hasn't it, really? I think he's done really well with them.
Absolutely. They're not blessed with stars. I like Lewis Dunk, you know, they've got your old pal there, Danny Welbeck. I
love Welbeck.
You do love Welbeck. He's got a few players that are good players, but he's not blessed with talent, you know, and what he's done there has been incredible. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. I like Potter. I think and this is what I mentioned earlier in the video, I think Potter and Gerrard are miles ahead of Lampard and Parker. I think the gap between 2nd and 3rd in this list is bigger than the gap between 3rd and 4th and 1st and 2nd. Let's speak about 1st. Steven Gerrard, he's one of my favourite players of all time. I could be seen as being biased here, but look at what that man has done this season. What I like about what he's done, he's progressed every season with this Rangers team. Fair play to the board. They've stuck with him. And you know, the first season, they were so far behind Celtic. Last season, you know, gave a good account of themselves, but couldn't get there. This season, they've blown them away. No defeats. I believe it's 6 draws. Is it, someone will crucify me for not knowing this, is it 15 goals conceded?
I mean, what you're alluding to there, unbeaten all season. I think for a young manager to have that stats even... See, what would you say? Because people, I imagine some people will go, how can you put Gerrard first? Because it's a Scottish league and Celtic are getting considerably worse. Would you buy that at all? Or for me, that's just nonsense.
To me, if Rangers would have won the league on the last day by a point or two, maybe you could argue that. He's blown them away. So even if Celtic were to have one of their Brendan Rodgers years, they probably wouldn't have caught Rangers this year. That's how good they've been.
Do you know what?
Gerrard has this tenacity to him. He had it as a player, that famous red card against Man U when he came on at half-time and was sent off 30 seconds later. I think it was a stamp on Mata, if I'm not mistaken. Gerrard has a nastiness, and you can tell in the dressing room, he's giving those players everything. He's probably the best player in their squad still. I think he could play at that level. So he's probably showing them in training just as much as he's telling them. Every time I've seen Steven Gerrard do an interview before a game, after a game, in a press conference, he sounds incredible. The way he speaks.
Agreed.
When he came out against not against, in favour of Kamara, who got racially abused in Europe, spoke incredibly, didn't pussyfoot around, didn't say, oh, we'll investigate it, oh, we'll have to see what we can. He went bang. He told me what they said to him. I trusted my player 100%. I think he's going to go to the top. I think he'll win Premier Leagues.
Do you know what? I think you alluded to that leader mentality that he has. And I think, do you know what? I think what really shows that is the fact that, as you say, the league has been wrapped up for quite a bit, but he's still managed to get them going to keep that unbeaten run. That shows that he keeps on at these players, and it is it's a we go out to win every game. And you can also look at the Europa League. I mean, he's got progressively better at that each year as well. They did really well this year in the Europa League. I think the season before that, they had a pretty good account for themselves as well, considering the Rangers. So, I think he can hold his head high in like a European league as well, or like the Europa League rather. So, for me, he's definitely got the most potential. I think if things, in the next year or two, if things do happen that Klopp goes to a new adventure or the wheels start to fall off there, I think he could be the man, and I think it would be deservedly so. I mean, I spoke about Lampard before. I don't think he deserved that job at the time. I think it was too soon for him, and I think Chelsea fans would agree. I'm not sure that this would be too soon for Gerrard. I think he's got everything about him to come in and do a great job.
I agree. I completely agree. Do you know, I've got a sneaky feeling that Arteta might not do well next season. And I think Gerrard could get linked. I think he'd smash it at Arsenal. He wouldn't go to United, obviously. He wouldn't go to Chelsea because of their massive rivalry in the Champions League and that kind of thing.
Well, he nearly went there before in his career.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that. I think Arsenal's one of the only big clubs, maybe along with... Well, Spurs aren't a big club.
Yeah, you said big club.
Man City, Leicester and Arsenal, the only clubs I could see him going to. Gerrard at Arsenal, you heard it here first. Guys, there wasn't that much of a debate this time except for Parker and Lampard. But listen, guys, tune in for tomorrow's video because I've got a funny feeling that is going to be epic. I think it's going to be a longer video as well. One of the reasons is because Roy Hodgson's been managing since 1942 or something like that. It's been about 90 years Roy Hodgson's been in management. So just to reel off his clubs will take an hour. Guys, do tune in. Put in the comments who had the best order. We both had first and second. Obviously, Scott got it wrong. He's put Lampard fourth. But humour me. Put it in the comments anyway. And let us know.
Yeah, let us know what your order would be, and if you think one of us, James, is a complete moron. And yeah, cheers for watching.
See you later.